story is No Dogs Allowed by Sonia Manzano. Hi, my name is Iris. I'm 7. And once upon a time, a long time ago, when I was 6, I lived in a place called the Bronx, in the kingdom of 3rd Avenue, in the land of New York City, with my big sister named Shorty the Fortune Teller, who could tell the future by just rolling her eyes, and a mother named Mommy the Busy, because, well, she was always busy doing something, a father named Poppy the Clever, who, with the touch of a hand and about 5 or 6 hours, he could fix anything, and a dog named El Exentio, because, well, he didn't really do anything. One day we decided to go to the lake at the Enchanted State Park. We woke up very early. That's how you beat the traffic in New York City. It was so early, it was still dark outside. And it was so early, I had extra trouble waking El Accidente because, well, he is very good at sleeping. And Mommy the Busy and my Poppy the Clever got everything ready. Mommy made a little lunch and a little after lunch snack. Then she made a little dinner and a little after dinner snack. Then she made dessert and, well, a little something to go for the road, just in case we got hungry. My Poppy packed, saying, only take what you know you'll really need to go on a picnic. My big sister Shorty the Fortune Teller packed just a few essentials. And I packed El Exigente, and my sister yelled, rolling her eyes, Mom! Iris can't bring that dog, can she? There'll be nothing but trouble if he comes. There'll be nothing but trouble if he stays, says Mommy. We lugged our things to the sidewalk and met my cousin Carmen the Beautiful, and she brought her traveling beauty parlor, and my other cousin, Marta the Smart. She brought a few books. And Aunt Tuta, the happily married, and her brand new husband, Juan. They were so in love, they could only bring each other. And Don Joe the grocer, who brought his deli counter, and the wise old people who wisely brought a table and chairs, a box of dominoes so they could finish a game that they had started 100 years ago when they were young in Puerto Rico, and a few neighbors from the tri-state area. They all brought things too. We loaded our trucks and cars and trailers, and off we went. We never took the highway. Poppy said old roads were always better to break down on. Which we did. I knew there was going to be a breakdown, said my big sister Shorty the Fortune Teller, rolling her eyes. That's okay, said my mommy. We can have a snack, and it gives me a time to crochet a nice little cloth for the picnic table. And it gives me a chance to rotate the tires after I fix the car, Poppy said cleverly. And I can fix my hair a bit, said Carmen the Beautiful. And I'll have time to finish reading the grim fairy tales, said Marta the Smart. I was just getting to the good part. Ooh, and I'll be able to make some sandwiches to have before and after we get to the lake, said Don Joe the grocer. And my Aunt Tuta and the happily married and her brand new husband Juan gazed at each other's eyes and said, oh boy, this gives us more time to spend together before we get to the lake. And there we can spend even more time together. The wise old people didn't say anything, but looked around wisely, set their table and their chairs up, and broke out the dominoes. Anybody who wasn't changing a tire, looking for a car jack, or crawling under their car got busy preparing a snack for anybody who was changing the tire, looking for a car jack, or crawling under the car. And anybody left over got a chance to do, well, whatever they wanted to do. I got a chance to play tug-of-war with El Exentio, and let me tell you, he's very good at it. So I knew exactly where the road map was when my papi wanted to check it so we wouldn't get lost. But once we were on the road again, we got lost anyways. I knew we were going to get lost, said my big sister Shorty the fortune teller, rolling her eyes. Think of it as an adventure, said Mommy. Besides, it gives us a chance to visit other neighborhoods and practice our English when we ask for directions. One day we actually got there. It was a miracle, said my big sister Shorty the fortune teller. Oh, I couldn't wait to do all of the things I'd been thinking of, like jumping in the enchanted lake, and getting some enchanted sun, and eating some enchanted lunch, and taking an enchanted nap, and even building some enchanted sandcastles. And that's when my big sister's eyes stopped rolling long enough for her to read the enchanted sign that said, "No dogs allowed." Oh, I knew it, she said, happy mad. I knew this was going to happen. I gulped. She was right. El Exante did cause troubles, and it was terrible. What were we going to do? Go home after breaking down and getting lost because El Exante was a dog? He couldn't help it. He was born that way. Besides, being a dog is what he did best. Why weren't dogs allowed on the lake anyways? I looked at Mommy. My Mommy and Papi looked at each other, and everyone started talking at once, in English and in Spanish. And then Papi said, "Wait a minute. Can you all be quiet so we can figure this out? We need to know what to do." Well, we'll never figure out what to do, said my sister, rolling her eyes. But everyone was too busy trying to figure out what to do to hear her. Then my papa yelled, "Calense!" at the top of his voice. And in case you didn't know it, that means quiet in Spanish. And then he thought, for the longest minute of my life. And finally he said cleverly, "Look, these packages are heavy. We might as well put them in a nice picnic table until we figure out what to do." Okay. And then my mommy got busy saying, "Well, it is hot. We might as well mix some coconut pineapple punch and set it out the blankets to a nice shady spot until we figure out what to do." And Carmen the Beautiful said, "Well, I might as well put on my swimsuit in case Prince Charming shows up until we figure out what to do." And Marta the Smart said, "Well, I might as well go make some fairy tale sandcastles until we figure out what to do." And Don Joe the Grocer said, "Well, we might as well eat these sandwiches I made until we figure out what to do." And Aunt Tuta and the happily married and her brand new husband Juan had decided to put their heads together and take a walk around the lake to try and figure out what to do. And the wise old people had already wisely seized the situation and found the perfect tree to play dominoes under until somebody else figured out what to do. And then Poppy the Clever said, "We should take turns staying with Alexantio in the parking lot until we figure out what to do." So that day, in the parking lot of the Enchanted State Park, my dog had his fur done by Carmen, he was read to by Marta, he was fed by Don Joe, and was babysat by Aunt Tutu and her husband Juan. He played dominoes with the old wise men, and his paws were read by my sister. And he was hugged and kissed by me until we could figure out what to do. And before we knew it, it was dark. My cousin Marta the Smart couldn't read anymore. Aunt Tutu and her brand new husband Juan were anxious to get home and start becoming an old happy married couple. Carmen the Beautiful had put rollers back in her hair, plus there was nothing to eat. So it was time to leave. And we drove home. Alexantio and I agreed that my sister Shorty the fortune teller was right both times. Exantio did cause trouble, and we never did figure out what to do. But it didn't matter, because we both felt tired and sleepy and happy and sandy, and just like you should feel after spending a night at the Enchanted State Park. It was wonderful. The